Hello there, Trevor here from Double Bill Movies. Okay, so if you remember a few videos back, I did a little video just kind of reminding everyone or telling everyone that January 27th was the 80th anniversary for the liberation of Auschwitz. And I showed in that video all the sort of films I have relating to the Holocaust itself, not just Auschwitz, but the whole subject. And I have finally worked my way through them all, and I just thought I'd let you know what I thought of them. Some of them I hadn't seen, some of them I probably did mention what I thought of in the previous video, so I'll try and get past those quickly. But so I'm going to go in sort of the rough order that they occur during World War II. Now, this one called One Life basically is right before the war breaks out. And Nicholas Winton goes over to Prague and just wants to help refugees, and that's what he does. They set up all these train journeys. They do this entire thing of putting out they put a little portfolio together for each child that they want to save, and they post them to families in the UK. And it's up to the family in the UK whether they respond to say, yes, we'll take one of them in or not. It was a really, really big sort of feat that they took under. And it's a very compelling film. I did see this in the cinema. I couldn't not see this in the cinema. It's quite heart-wrenching in places, but for good reasons. There's nothing atrocious in the film. It's not like your Schindler's List or anything like that. It's literally well, at one point in the film, World War II starts literally on screen kind of thing. The Germans just storm into a train station and start taking people off the trains. Not those kind of trains, but these are regular passenger trains. So yes, that's One Life. Very, very good film. Highly recommended if you haven't seen it before. Now this one covers the entire war. Now I watched the 4K of this, but this is my Blu-ray version. This lovely book that I got, Studio Canal release, of The Pianist, starring Adrian Brody. And he plays a pianist. It's Zach Perlman.
Get it right, Trev. It's Vladislav Spielman.
So yes, he's playing the piano on the radio, and we're sort of in the studio with him, and suddenly a bomb goes off. He kind of carries on playing, but then another one goes off, and it's kind of damages the studio and everything, and so they realise they need to get out. Yes, it's about starting to clamp down on the Jews in the area. In Warsaw, this is particularly. And we just follow his journey. He literally survives the war, but we follow his entire journey through all the different aspects that he had to deal with. Kind of being hidden in various people's flats and stuff like that. And he just tried to evade capture and everything wherever he could. So yes, there are some really, really hard things to watch in this film. But I do urge you to watch it and push through those scenes. So it's very, very rewarding film once you get to the end, and it's a brilliantly made film. So that's The Pianist. Now, this film quite possibly is one of the most powerful films you will ever watch. I did report that there is a German version coming out. I would be interested in seeing that. I'd be interested in hopefully they don't change anything. I don't think they will. I think the Germans are very aware that they are, they accept what happened in the past. It's definitely not the same country anymore. So I don't think they're hiding from it. Some of them will be, but not all of them. This is called Conspiracy, and it's literally about a meeting that so this is Adolf Eichmann, and this is Reinhard Friedrich. And there's two films later on that I'm going to watch that sort of relate to both these characters. He becomes the Butcher of Prague, and he manages to survive the war, and there's a big trial when he gets captured to obviously sentence him. But extremely well made. You have to watch all the actors and think to yourself, they've really got to put their mindset into believing what they're talking about, and to get the right acting, to get the right message across, that they believe what they're doing, that, you know, they've got to go somewhere that they don't like, but you do believe it. And yes, it's all in English, but nonetheless, it is probably, as I said, the most powerful film you'll ever see, because of what it's dealing with and what it's talking about. I don't think there's any other film that can be more powerful than what this film is talking about. I really do believe that. I know there's some really, really amazing, powerful films out there, but there's something about this one that is just really, really dark, really, really haunting. But it is a brilliant film, and it has an extremely high IMDb rating. And that just goes to show how many people believe, you know, that it's a good film. Not what the subject matter is amazing, it's horrible. But anyway, so I highly, highly, highly recommend you watch this and understand the full extent what the Nazis, not the Germans, but the Nazis went to get rid of the Jewish population. Then we go to a brilliant film, a defiant film, and that is Defiance, with Daniel Craig. And now, I did see a video the other day where he explained how his name's actually pronounced. Most people say Liev Schreiber. I can't remember what he said, so I'll just leave it at that. But these two brothers end up kind of looking after lots and lots of Jewish people that are trying to escape what's going on. And they hide and live in the woods, and they survive and everything. There is a bit of sort of hierarchy struggle between them. You get some people that have got to go out on dangerous missions, and they think, well, hang on, we're doing the dangerous work, so we get more food than everyone else. And it's like, well, no, that's not the way it is. We're all here to do the same thing. We all got to share the food equally, and that kind of stuff. So there's lots of things going on in this film, but highly recommended, and it is a true story as well. So yeah, that's Defiance. That's about 1941. So 1941 crosses over in 1942 as well. So actually that should have come before Conspiracy, but never mind. Now this is a pretty powerful film, and a film that you can kind of go, serves you right. And I think that's what it's been designed for. I don't think it's based on any reality in the sense that what happens, but it is based clearly around reality. And that is The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas. So he's obviously in a concentration camp, and he's the son of a very high-ranking German officer. But they make friends. And then something happens at the end that the German officer really didn't want to happen, but you kind of go, serves you right. Highly recommend that. Now, I mentioned, what did I say his name was? Yes, Reinhard Heydrich. I hope that's what I said earlier on. This is another true story, Operation Anthropoid, where two locals were parachuted in and tasked with assassinating Reinhard. Didn't quite go to plan, but there is a big battle at the end where all of the people involved are trying to survive, and they actually survived 6 hours in a church, would you believe, holding off SS. Now, if you know anything about World War II and you have the German Wehrmacht, and you have the SS, and the SS were the elite. So essentially they were better than the Wehrmacht. But yes, I will say it's not the best film. There is another version called Hangmen Also Die, which is an old black and white film, and I would actually say is much better. But this one will be much more sort of accurate and truthful to what went on, because I imagine a lot more information was available when they made this film. No, it's not the best film I've ever seen. It's a little bit of a letdown, but it is worth watching if you don't want to watch the black and white version, which you can get from Arrow. Yes, it's kind of hidden somewhere, so I can't get it quickly. Anyway, that's Operation Anthropoid, or just Anthropoid. Now, you may have heard that the Warsaw Ghetto, which is one of many ghettos all over Germany and Poland, where Jewish people were held captive and left to live in not very good conditions. But there was an uprising, and this film, Uprising, funny enough, depicts that. And yes, you got Hank Azaria, one of the voices of many Simpsons characters. You got David Schwimmer from Friends. So we have not John Voight. Yes, we do have John Voight. I was thinking of John Lithgow. Sorry, yes. So John Voight and Donald Sutherland. I can't remember this lady's name. It's probably on the top here. Lily Sobieski. I would imagine, I would hope that that's the picture of her. Hank Azaria, David Schwimmer, John Voight. Yes, I was right. There we go. So this is a very battered, beaten up version, DVD of this. Now, it is on Prime, and I did actually purchase the HD version on Prime. But you know what? I thought, I'm going to watch the DVD version. And I had no upscaling, so my projector, that presented it in true 576 resolution, true DVD resolution. And at some point I called my wife to say, look at this picture. And if I hadn't said that it wasn't a 4K, she might have thought that it was a 4K, or at least a Blu-ray. The picture for this DVD was amazing. And watching it 100% natural resolution on my projector was brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's the best I've ever seen it. I've only ever watched it on TV before, but you know, it does have surround sound. It is the 5.1 and it is widescreen. I think it was a TV movie though, so yeah, but anyway, it's a long film and it tells a lot. It really goes into the nitty-gritty parts of the uprising, and it's a very good film. Very I say enjoyable. Yeah, some of it's not, you know, it's not nice, but it doesn't concentrate too much on that. There's a big scene where the uprising finally starts, and the Germans can't do anything about it. They're fighting a losing battle. They're losing to non-soldiers. But anyway, so yeah, brilliant film. I did check the Prime version afterwards, and although some shots looked clearly better because they were high definition, for the most part the DVD looked way better. It was much more consistent overall, the whole image. Anyway, so this next film I saw as a kid, and it's clearly something that's planted a seed in me about World War II. And the scene that I distinctly remember, the image I had struck in my head, was almost perfect to when I actually saw it, when I watched Escape from Sobibor. Now I watched the widescreen version. Basically that crops the top and bottom of the image, but it's still framed nicely that it looked like, you know, it wasn't missing anything. Sometimes when they take these 4:3 images and they crop the top and bottom to make them widescreen, they don't look very good. But this film worked, and this is another TV film from 1987, starring Rutger Hauer, Alan Arkin, and Joanna Pecula. And yeah, the great thing about this, although there are some scenes that are unpleasant, they get the better of the Nazis, you know, looking over them in this camp, and a whole load of them escape. I think it was something like 200. They aimed to get 300 and something people out, but I think just over 200 people actually escaped Sobibor. That's impressive. So that's a really good film. This is from Network. Yes, you can get this on DVD. That'll focus, probably not, but you can get this on DVD. But as soon as I found out it was coming out on Blu-ray, then I got that on Blu-ray. And yes, there's two versions. There's the 4:3 version, which will be the entire image, and then the 16:9 version, which will be top and bottom cropped off. But yes, Escape from Sobibor, one of the many death camps and concentration camps that existed. Now the one that we all know, and I know a lot of you are very reluctant to watch, and I completely understand that. But again, as I've said before, I implore you to actually watch it. You think of the suffering that the people went through. You're not suffering, you're just going to get upset. So it's kind of a, you know, you should watch it to learn, and you should watch it to sort of maybe sort of pay respect. But you do get really rewarded for watching it if you watch it all the way through and you get to the end. Yes, it's sad, but for sort of happy reasons. So, Schindler's List, Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List. And, you know, so Ralph Fiennes is in this, and he plays an SS officer, and he was a true life character who's played a real person. And there's some scenes in there where, as I said about conspiracy, he's put himself in a headspace where he's believing what he's doing. And, you know, so Liam Neeson obviously plays Oscar Schindler. And it is just a brilliant film. So I thoroughly enjoyed the experience of watching this 4K of Schindler's List. And yes, watch it. Now this was a brand new one for me. When I did that video, one of the comments on it was someone mentioning a few other films, and one of them was this one, and it's a film called Son of Jol. That's how that's pronounced, not Soul. You know, you can say Son of Soul if you want, but they pronounce it Son of Jol. Pretty sure it's a true life person. Now this one is based in Auschwitz itself, and sort of Birkenau. Birkenau was part of Auschwitz, but it was a different part, where the Sonderkommandos, they were Jewish, but they were given tasks to do, which meant cleaning out, yes, the gas chambers and all that kind of stuff. Now, what's beautiful about this film is half the time the only thing in focus on camera is his face, and it's kind of really full frame, so you can hear what's going on, and you can see blurred figures in the background of some of the shots, so you know what's going on, but it's not shown to you graphically. There isn't really anything graphic in this, but yes, when you're aware, so it's very tastefully done. It is all in Hungarian, I believe it's a Hungarian, and German, so you do have to read subtitles, but I didn't really have any trouble with it. And it is a brilliant film in that. I mean, I was watching it thinking this seems a bit sort of weird, but then when I got to the end and I sort of thought about it, I talked to my wife about it and thought, no, that's just the director showing an aspect of what went on. And then I enjoyed it. Or then I got, the satisfaction from it. Like I said, yes, there's a few things, and when you realise what it is they're doing, and you're like, well, how did we do that? Why? But yes, it happened. But again, I do urge you to find this and watch it, Son of Jol. And it's an experience. It's an experience. It's not. Well, you'll have to make up your own mind, but I think you should watch this as well. So there we go, Son of Jol. And this is the American version, hence the slip. Our version didn't have one, but okay, then we get to two films that are post-war. This one is also a true story about, what was his name? David Irving. Now, in 2007, I think it was. I don't really follow the news. I don't really read the news, but you may have heard about this character who was a Holocaust denier, and there was a whole case set against him because Rachel Weisz's character had written a book and had mentioned him, and that he was a denier and all this, that and the other, because he was a publisher as well. He was publishing books, and apparently his early books were agreed, believed that the Holocaust happened, and then suddenly he switched tact and decided that no, it was all fake, it was all lies, and this, that and the other, and there was no proof, and everything like that. Yes, Tom Wilkinson plays a brilliant part, and he plays the part extremely well. He's always been very good at any role that he's been part of, but this is a very good film. And again, I found sort of the crescendo of it a little bit dull, but that's hard when you're making a film about a true story. Now, you either embellish it to make it more sort of wow and satisfying, but I'm guessing they wanted to make this as realistic as possible. And yes, like I said, when it got to sort of the crescendo part, the end of the case, yeah, anyway, but still, very good film. So that's Denial. Then, obviously, I mentioned Adolf Eichmann earlier in the conspiracy film, played by Stanley Tucci. And yes, this film, The Eichmann Show, is about his trial. And it's about this man who was tasked with directing. So Martin Freeman's character is the producer, and he wants him to direct him, but he's been blacklisted from the directing pool in Hollywood for whatever reason. But he's just about taken off the blacklist, and he wants him to go to Israel and film this trial. And now, for all you filmmakers out there, this is a brilliant film from that respect, because or TV personnel, because it's a TV broadcast, and it is possibly one of the most, or it was actually one of the very first mass media TV broadcasts ever in TV history. So that's that aspect of it as well. But now, I do warn you, you do see some footage which is unpleasant to see, because what they're trying to do is get a reaction out of Eichmann. The director keeps saying, go to that camera, go to that camera. I want to be close up on Eichmann. He wants to get a reaction out of him, and that sort of thing. So they show him a whole load of footage, hoping to get this reaction from him. Yeah, it's a very, very good film. And equally, this kind of, again, because they wanted to keep it true, it wasn't like a big, yes, there was a relief from the characters once whatever happens, but you don't necessarily feel completely sort of satisfied. But yeah, anyway, still a great watch. So that's all those films, and that's what I thought of them. And I really recommend that you watch all of them, not in one go. Don't watch them all in one go, because you'll be quite depressed. There was a couple of films I did watch in between, but mostly I did kind of watch one each night. And as I said in the previous video, they suffered, so my being a little bit upset is nothing compared to what they suffered. So I was happy to put myself through that. Anyway, that's a long video. I'm sorry it was a long video, but nonetheless, just wanted to give you my thoughts on those films. And like I said, I do recommend them. And anyway, give us a thumbs up, please. And yeah, anyway, till the next video, take it easy.